SAP is working hard on adding functionality to SAP IBP on a quarterly basis. But don't we all know that it's hard to stay up to speed with all these improvements, updates and changes? For that reason, here on McCoy TV, we are going to help you manage that. And don't worry, we're not going to let you watch a 2-hour-long video where we summarize the full release. Instead, shortly after each quarterly release, we will release a new McCoy TV episode, detailing a few key functionalities that we find the most interesting. Starting with today's video. I'm Brandon Janssen, SAP IBP Consultant at McCoY Partners, and in this video, I will walk you through a few key functionalities of the SAP IBP 2105 release. The first new functionality to discuss is the new app Manage Editability Horizon for key figures. This new app gives us much greater control as to when certain key figures can be manually edited. Prior to this, we could define a general, broad range of editability to make only the future editable, for example. But with this new app, we're able to specify exact time horizons within which specified key figures are editable. And we can even limit this based on master data. So let's have a look in the system. In the Editability Horizon for Key Figures app, we can create horizon rules that apply to criteria that you define. In this case, I created this SNOP input cycle variant, and in it I specified a couple of key figures to which this variant applies. Next, we can define the horizon in a couple of ways. First thing we do is define the time periods we're talking about. Now, in this example, I will configure this in calendar weeks. The fixed rule is, as the name suggests, the default rule in which the key figures we defined previously are editable. Here, you can input an integer number that represents the number of periods in the past and the number of periods in the future. The dynamic rule gives you even more control over the editability. Here, you have two options: editable based on an integer attribute of the planning level, or based on master data, which we will configure in this example. For this, I created a master data type with the product and the customer as key and two integer horizon attributes. I assign these horizon attributes to the from and to attribute assignments in this rule. Now, this master data type gives us the ability to even restrict and adjust the horizons based on customer product, like I have maintained here. In this case, if I turn both the fixed rule and the dynamic rule on, these customer products would follow their dynamic horizons and all other customer products would follow the fixed rule. This functionality is the outcome of the Customer Influence Program and inserted by SAP based on votes from several clients. It gives you the capability to manage key figures on specific horizons, giving you better insight and more control over your planning system and process. The second new functionality is the key figure groups. Everyone who has worked with IBP is familiar with creating and editing a view in the IBP Excel add-in. Selecting key figures can be a hassle, as the list of key figures can get quite big in a running system. With the Key Figure Groups app in IBP 2105, this can become much more streamlined. In IBP, we can now use the Key Figure Groups app to create key figure groups per planning area. In this system, I've created a couple of groups that you see here. Of course, this is just an example and can be configured to whatever grouping the client likes. As soon as you define your group by inputting an ID and a name, specify to which planning area this applies and where it will be used, in this example that will be the Excel add-in, you can click the Create button and start adding key figures, like I have done here. Now, when we go to the Excel add-in and create or edit a view, we see these groupings in the screen, which makes it much easier and faster to find the key figures you're looking for. This functionality will provide more clarity within the Excel plugin. IBP is offering a lot of information using several key figures for different roles and different processes within your organization. For the end user, this grouping will help to structure the available data and simplify the selection. The third one we want to shortly highlight here is the Procedure Playbooks app. Most companies I've worked for so far have Excel sheets where they record some of their playbooks, IT support related issues and solutions, for example. With the Procedure Playbooks app, this can now all be centralized in your IBP system. In the Procedure Playbooks app, you can create as many playbooks as you want, like this one for example. This is a playbook that is relevant when an abnormally high sales forecast quantity exception occurs. It has a number of activities with the activity name and description, and in the last column we can input an action link. This is a regular URL where you could link to another IBP app or even link to a file on a SharePoint. Users can then assign these procedure playbooks to custom alert definitions, which enables you to view the playbook procedure along with the custom alerts in either the Monitor Custom Alerts app or the Intelligent Visibility app. Procedure playbooks will help in solving supply chain planning issues. A playbook can contain a detailed description of the issues, the reason for the issues, and the activities and actions to be taken to resolve them. This will help you to take the next step in working exception-based management using SAP IBP. Another nice new addition to IBP is the extra level of interactivity that order-based planning now allows. From Release 2105, it has become possible to create, delete, fix, and unfix planned receipts directly in IBP, either through web-based planning and even through the Excel add-in. By inputting values in 2 new key figures, users can specify the quantities that they want to create. These key figures are distribution receipt for interactive planning, which is a stored key figure that contains a value for the receipt quantity of a material, and production receipt for interactive planning, which is a stored key figure that contains a value for a production quantity for a specific production data source. Both of these key figures can then be used as an input for the corresponding Create Planned Receipts application job. After running this job, the planned receipts are created accordingly. New application jobs are also available to fix or unfix planned receipts and to delete planned receipts. The last functionality that we will discuss here are the 2 additions to the Change History Analysis app. The first addition is the Original Changes view, which lets users display interactive changes on the planning level on which the value has been changed by a user. This can help businesses identify the origin of changes. The second addition to the app is a simple but very powerful one, as users are now enabled to share change history views themselves and no longer have to go through an administrator to share these views. And with that, I want to emphasize that this is just a small selection of the full 2105 release. Some of the new functionalities that we found the most interesting. If you want to learn more about this release, there is a link in the description box to the full SAP IBP What's New 2105. That's all for today's video on the SAP IBP 2105 release. What added benefits do you think these updates will have on your business? We're excited to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And did you like this video? Support us by liking and sharing. As said before, we're going to be making a video for each upcoming IBP release. So if you don't want to miss any updates, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification icon.